And just like that, man, we back. Y'all know the vibes. You woke up this morning, you already won. I hope you are doing something right now that your future self will thank you for. It's your boy Earl of Pearl. Cecil Shorts is back in the building. What's up, brother? Good evening. How
Man,
you
good
feel?
evening. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy
Happy
Valentine's
belated
Day.
birthday, the whole night.
Happy MLK Day. All that stuff, man. What's going on?
Oh man, can't complain. There's a lot going on in the sports world, man. But listen, the fans have not seen you in about 6 weeks, and a lot is going on. First of all, you celebrated your birthday, 38.
38. Getting old.
38th birthday. Happy belated birthday to you. Family celebrated Christmas. Of course, y'all just celebrated the new year. But you are now the head football coach at Houston Christian High School, home of the Mustangs.
Yes, sir.
Talk about it, man. You are now the officially new Coach Shorts. How did we get here? What happened?
Little backstory. Just my dad's always been a coach somewhere, whether it was high school, little league, whatever. He's been coaching high school ball, track, baseball, football, basketball since I was second grade, first grade. It's in his blood. Before that, my grandfather was a coach. So I watched my dad pour into many young men and women and the impact he made on different people's lives, whether I was in PE class, whether I was just talking in the hallway, him singing, or, him coaching, right? So when the opportunity came, I always knew I wanted to coach. So I've been coaching the last 7-8 years as an assistant. And then I interviewed a couple of times for a head coaching job. This wasn't the right place, right time, didn't get the job. And then opportunity came here at Houston Christian, and they ended up hiring me. I couldn't be more excited, man, to help build the program in the city of Houston. Great area. They love football here in Texas. So going to plan to hire some really good staff members and really get this thing going. And I'm excited to be a part of, the Mustang community.
That's what's up, man. I'm very, very excited for you, and I know you're gonna do well. Me and you talked in private. High school football is a big deal in Texas, just like it is right here in Ohio. So I'm looking forward, man, just from afar, seeing the type of program you put together, hearing about the staff that you put together, and ultimately seeing some of your high school kids get D1 scholarships and go on to the next level. Because me and you both know, when I think about your dad, when I think about a guy like Coach Ginn, it's about winning the kid more than it is about winning the game. And if you win the kid 9 times out of 10, you'll win the game as well.
Absolutely, man. So excited about the new journey and ready to get after it. But also, I'm excited to be back on with you. It's been too long, big dog. It's been too long.
Yeah, way too long. And we got a whole lot to talk about, man. We're going to talk about the Browns' latest mock draft that we both saw on Yahoo earlier today. We're going to rank our own rankings of the 9 available head coaching positions. And then we'll talk a little bit later to wrap up the show about the latest in the Cleveland Browns search for a head coach. Don't forget, though, subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube page. Ring the bell so you can stay in the know of the flagship shows, the Ultimate 216, Ultimate Cavs, and Ultimate Browns spinoff show, man, as we try to present and produce fire content for y'all at least once a week. Subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. So, man, I was putting together the show rundown, got up this morning, was doing some reading, and I came across a mock draft on Yahoo Sports that was put together by Nate Tice and Charles McDonald. And it interested me because it was the first mock draft that I saw that had the Browns draft strategy a little bit different from what we've discussed between ourselves in the past and ultimately what the fans have been discussing. If you have not seen the mock draft, we're going to show you the screenshots of the 2 players that they have the Cleveland Browns taking. At 6, they got the Browns taking the offensive lineman Francis from Miami, who is going to be playing in the national championship, I believe, Monday against Fernando Mendoza in the Indiana Hoosiers. But it says there's a dearth of quarterback options in this year's draft class, so the Browns' intentions turns to another dire position of need, offensive line. Mayoga might have been the most consistent offensive lineman of this year's class, at least among players who entered the season highly regarded. While Mayoga would be the best at guard at the next level, he's more than earned the right to start out at a tackle. The Browns are about to need both, so perfect. What's your thoughts on that being the pick at 6, first of all?
Home run hit. I'm big on fixing the offensive line. It don't matter who the quarterback is. If he don't got time to throw, if he can't go through his progressions, if y'all can't run the football, it does not matter who's behind center. You have to have the offensive line intact. Like, to me, you need to build that offensive line. That should be probably your number one priority, right? Your number one is to build that offensive line. And it seems like through a lot of different and analysts and NFL draft experts that this guy is the top guy, or one of the top guys for sure, when it comes to the offensive line coming to this year's draft. And I look at the New England Patriots as an example. They drafted the best offensive lineman they could this year in Will Campbell. And
Yeah,
he
they did.
tremendous in that turnaround in New England, because they have protected and found a way to protect Drake May, who's their asset, right? So when you can protect Shador or whoever else the quarterback may be, I think it should be Shador this year. You're doing a whole team a service. Now you don't have to worry about the pressure coming as much, or whatever the case may be. You can truly evaluate the quarterback for what he's bringing to the table. So I think it's a home run hit.
And with the second pick, the 24th pick overall from your former team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cleveland Browns are going to be taking, I think this is Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. He is an offensive guard as well. And the little write-up says, you think we're done with the Browns offensive line? It's slim pickings at quarterback. Wide receiver could be looked at here, but why not take an offensive line unit that has the potential to be nuclear bad in 2026 and inject some optimism going forward, especially with Quinshon Judkins carrying the football behind it. Pregnon is an explosive blocker with light feet and could help shore up the interior of the pocket for whoever is playing quarterback for the Browns in the future. And I think that speaks to what you just talked to. And I'm in agreement with you. And in fact, I'll put out there on Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter at Earl of Pearl _216, that I wouldn't be mad, bro, if two of the first three picks were actually offensive linemen, because just like you just talked about, the importance of having a solid offensive line, it has such a tremendous impact on a quarterback, on a running back. That offensive line immediately elevates the play of all the skill position players, because your quarterback got time to throw, your running back got lanes to run through. I'll take it a step further, right? Because the Browns offensive line is horrific. And that is the one area that we all know, like, you got to address. We know DeJuan Jones is going to be returning next year. Healthy, by all accounts, from all reports, he's moving back to the right side. So that's your right tackle. Zach Zinter really hasn't played much since he came out of Michigan. I'm pretty sure he'll be in the mix. He's going to have to play. You got Luke Whippler returning, right? Those just the top three off the top of my head, and maybe one or two more linemen that might be returning to the Cleveland Browns. But outside of that, there's going to be a whole new group. So why not draft two offensive linemen in the first round? I'll take it a step further. How would a Tyler Linderbaum interest you in free agency if somehow you can move some money around, get yourself in a salary cap situation to where you can make that type of splash in free agency to shore up the line? Because whether it's Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, or whomever that comes in here to be a part of this next quarterback room, it would help a lot if you had an offensive lineman, especially a center, that can call out the checks at the line of scrimmage for you. I think that would make a quarterback's job a whole lot easier if he had a Tyler Linderbaum, as his center. You get these two rookies in there to go with DeJuan Jones and Zach Zinter. At least you're starting to turn that corner with an offensive line that creates more optimism for the fan base.
No, for sure. I think the necessity in free agency still needs to be offensive line, right? And we'll talk about receiver in a little bit, but I think offensive line is where you'll make not only the fans happy, but your quarterback, your running back, the players on the team happy, right? So if you can land Tyler, which would be huge, one of the best centers in the game, and I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson would be upset if they let him out the building, especially to an AFC North opponent. But if you can make some money move and bring in a guy like him or somebody else of that nature that can be a veteran, that has experience, that knows how to make the calls up front, knows how to protect and run block as well, and can fit in whatever the new coach comes in, whatever his system is, I think you'll be happy. I'm not bought though. I'm not sold, I should say, on 2 guys in the first round. I'm not mad at it. I totally get it, but you better get it right. Like you better get it right, especially when you need, and you know this, Earl, when you need help at the receiver position. I
No,
think.
big facts, big facts. And it's funny because
Mhm.
actually, before we move on to the next segment, we can just do this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick and just take a look at the entire 4.0 mock draft from Yahoo Sports, just so the fans can get a understanding of what we're looking at here. So, of course, Fernando Mendoza goes number one. Now, this was put out earlier. By now, everybody know
Yeah,
Dante Moore is going back to
right.
Oregon, which I think is a great idea. See, so I was never fond of a quarterback entering the draft with just one season as the starting quarterback under his belt. I think he does himself a huge favor by going back to Oregon for another year, getting that another season as a starter under your belt. Money is not an issue. He's going to get paid a nice penny to
Yeah.
go back to Oregon and do his thing. And who, honest to God, wants to be drafted by the New York Jets at
Ooh.
quarterback if we keeping it all the way 100? So, but Arvell Reese, Cleveland, Ohio guy, you know what I'm saying? One of our guys right there going number three to Arizona. Carnell Tate in this mock draft goes number 4 to Tennessee.
Oh, it's high.
Spencer Fano is the first offensive lineman off the draft, off the board. I mean, then of course you got Cleveland at 6. Just running through this list here so people can get an idea of what's going on around the Cleveland Browns when they'll be selecting in the first round here. Uh, you said wide receiver is a need. I think that's the second wide receiver we see go off the board right there with Makai Lemon. You go down to the Chargers. Caden McDonald, another Ohio State guy. You got another tackle going off the board at 23. Then you got the Browns taking the guard at Oregon. Jordan Tyson, brother of Cleveland Cavaliers guard Jalen Tyson, going to pick below us to the Buffalo Bills. And you see the rest of this draft here. So a lot of linemen going in this first round in a class that a lot of people believe is weak. And so people are having this attitude, you know what? Let me go get one while I can. So y'all let us know what y'all think in the chat. You see the latest mock draft, they got the Cleveland Browns taking 2 offensive linemen in the first round. If the Cleveland Browns was for whatever reason to apply that draft strategy, is that something that you cool with? You make sure you let us know. Coming up next, man, me and Cecil rank the 9 job openings currently in the NFL. But again, you got to make sure that you subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube page. Also ring that bell so you can stay in the know every time one of your favorite spinoff shows goes live or is premiering a new episode, whether that's this show, the Ultimate 216 show, the Ultimate Cavs show, or the Ultimate Brown show with G. Bush. So, bro, about a good 25% of the NFL need a new coach. 25% of these teams need a new coach right now, man. The latest to hit the board was Mike Tomlin. He stepped down from the Pittsburgh Steelers. His situation is a bit unique. He was not fired. He stepped down. We don't know what his plans is for 2026, but all accounts, he might take a media job. He simply might take a year off to enjoy his family and then get back to it. But if Mike Tomlin is interested in coaching in the team and another team with one of these openings want to holler at Mike, it's going to cost him some type of capital to the Pittsburgh Steelers as they own his rights into 2027. By now, man, you know who the big names is out there. You got Tomlin out there. Harbaugh is out there. Kevin Stefanski is a name that's out there. That's a big name. Mike McDaniel name is floating around. A bunch of coordinators that some of us might know, may not know, and a couple young cats that we're just now getting introduced to. But it's a privilege to be able to coach in the NFL, and these jobs do not come, often. There are 9 vacancies. Just wanted to have some fun and kind of get, check your temperature on how you see these jobs lining up 1 through 9, ranking the top 10, ranking the top 9 jobs. So we're gonna go through this list, have some fun, and get to doing this together, man. So you got your list together?
We ready. We
All
ready.
right, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. You want to start from the bottom or the top?
Let's start from the bottom.
All right, let's start from the bottom at number 9.
At number 9, you want me to go first or you?
I want you to go first.
I got the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins, 23. If I'm not mistaken, it's $23 million over budget. But besides all that, listen, it's too many distractions in Miami. Like that, let's just tell the truth. Like it's too much going on in the Sunshine State, in Miami in particular, and it's hard to win there. It's not hard getting players there. It's hard having guys focus while they are there. I'm just calling a spade a spade. I think a culture rebranding needs to happen there. Not sure of their quarterback situation. We talked about the cap. You just had to pop up there in the negative, and the cap, I think $23 million over budget. But Miami to me is number 9, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I got Miami ranking dead last for some of those same reasons. By the way, our numbers, as we put together our team profile, they come from Over the Cap and Spotrac. These numbers is accurate right now, but anything can change. This is just a projection of where it is right now. There's going to be salary contracts. There's going to be salaries that's reconstructed, contracts reconstructed, all that other good stuff. So you go back to the Dolphins. I mean, right now they operating in the negative. I mean, you see the key players, A-Chain, Hill, and Waddle. Hill is a little bit older. 8 total draft picks. There are a lot of distractions down there in Miami, and you stuck with Tua in that bad contract. You don't know what the plan is for them to, really move off quarterback. And not having a quarterback currently is the end all be all, in my opinion. But it's just something about that particular organization and that particular job that just lacks so much appeal to me. Moving on to number 8, who you got?
Arizona Cardinals. Arizona
Ooh,
Cardinals. I think
okay.
it's a hard place to win in Arizona and very tough division. Their cap, as you can see, isn't bad at all. They have some decent young pieces. I think Marvin Harrison has not really lived up to his expectation. I think Trey McBride is extremely special. But then to me, you go back to the quarterback situation, they may draft a quarterback this year. I don't think they're that happy with Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler Murray has lived up to the expectations that they have wanted him to. And it might be a better situation if he leaves and they get some capital back for him, right? So for me, I would say Arizona at number 8.
All right, so for me at number 8, I got the Tennessee Titans
Oh,
because if you look at their profile, right, and I get it, you look at that, they got about 110 million that they're gonna be rocking with in projected salary cap, which is top 3 in the NFL, the 4th overall pick in the draft, 8 total picks. You do got Cam Ward there as a building block, but and I listed Jeffrey Simmons and Tony Pollard. But if I'm being really, really honest with myself, bro, outside of Cam Ward, I mean, Jeffrey Simmons is an aging veteran. Tony Pollard is cool. He had his best game of his career against the Cleveland Browns this last game, but is he really, one of those RB1s like that? I don't see a team that has that much talent, and I don't think that that's a functional organization. Everybody talk about the Cleveland Browns not being a functional organization. I'm not. His name is not coming to me off the top of my head, but the week that we played the Tennessee Titans and I was doing a radio show, I interviewed with a guy who works for the Athletic for the Tennessee Titans, and he talked about the lack of continuity in that building, even with the head coach gone, right? And so just knowing like that there's different levels and possibly friction going on, and it just doesn't seem like that they put together a roster that appeals to me. Even with Cam Ward, I would not really be all that interested in the Titans job. So I got the Titans number 8.
okay.
Number 7.
Atlanta.
That's a shocker.
Quarterback situation is god awful. I think they might have missed on Michael. Help me out. Quarterback left-handed from Washington. This hurt his knee again. Penix. I think they missed on Penix. I truly, truly do. And then when you look at their backup, they're still owing Kirk Cousins a lot of money, if I'm not mistaken. Their cap room is not the best. And they have talent. That's the thing about Atlanta. They have Bijan, Drake London, a couple of safeties on the team that are really good. They have talent, right?
Watts made the old pro list as
I'm just not sold that they're in position with a quarterback. And to me, that's a tough place to be in, especially when you don't have a lot of cap room, right? They went 7-9 last year, I believe, just missed the playoffs in the weak NFC South. The talent is there on the offensive side, decent on the defensive side. And if I'm not mistaken, they traded their first round pick this year to the Rams. So if I'm not mistaken, I think the Rams have two first round picks this year. You're just making the wealthier more wealthy, right? But to me, seven is fits Atlanta. Salary cap and quarterback is a big issue for me.
So for me at 7, I had the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm,
I like the Cardinals job a little bit better than you do when you consider they got Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. I think you got some young pass catchers on that side of the ball. They also got I think his name Michael Wilson,
yep.
another young wide
Deep
receiver
ball.
there who had over 1,000 yards. So to me, when you look at them on the offensive side of the ball, they even got a former Ohio State offensive lineman, I think, at Parrish, right? So you got some young pieces on the offensive line. You got some young pieces that are, playing premier positions, premier pass catchers anyway. And I think that if they were to land like a Mac Jones in a trade or found themselves in the situation to where
Mm,
you can convince the Las Vegas Raiders to make a trade with you and get up to number one and you get Fernando Mendoza, all of a sudden the Cardinals don't look that bad. You know what I mean? As far as on paper, on the offensive side of the ball. Salary cap is not the best situation. Draft situation is not the best, but when you look at it, they're right now mocked to take Arville Reese with the third overall pick. They do need help on the defensive side of the ball. Their cap situation is mid tier. I don't know. I like the Cardinals' job a little bit better than most people, even though the division is tough, simply because you got a young piece on your offensive line. You got some young pass catchers there that's very, very appealing. And I'm just curious to know what that would look like with better quarterback play, because like you said, Kyler Murray, he just ain't it, right? He just ain't it. So,
mm.
all right, on to number 6, man. So far I got 9 Miami, you got Miami at 9, you got Arizona at 8, I got Tennessee at 8, you got Atlanta at 7, I got Arizona at 7. Who you got at 6?
I got I guess they're the L.A. Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm dating myself. Las Vegas Raiders. Number one overall pick. Genty, Bowers, Crosby. They got some players. They're not far off in my opinion. Tons of cap room. The ability to bring somebody to Las Vegas won't be hard. The ability to sell something won't be hard. The hardest part would be to can Brady, and I know he's highly involved in bringing in the coach and with the coaching search, can he and company really get a good coach to come in there and dive into it, and will he be allowed to have time to really build something there? But I like the position the Raiders are in. If you bring in a Fernando Mendoza, I think he can be a guy that can do really, really well in Las Vegas. You have a running game, you have a pass catcher, probably another pass catcher. But I like what they have decently enough. For that's why I got them at number 6.
So for me, I got them at number 6. I mean, having a number one overall pick, that's very appealing. You're going to be in top 3 in projected salary cap. You do got Brock Bowers, you got the Ashton Genty, and you got Max Crosby. And that's I mean, you got a brand new stadium. You play on the West Coast. The weather is
Yep,
nice.
beautiful.
But of all the teams, you know, that have these openings, I think that they have the least amount of stability, in
Mm,
my opinion. I think that they lack continuity more than anybody else that have openings. If you think about it, I mean, they fired damn near every coach. They paying like 5 or 6 coaches on the back end with a whole new staff like coming out right now. And yeah, Tom Brady is in the building, but you know, you don't really trust what the GM is going to do. You don't really trust them to hire the right people. To fire every single body this year, and you fired everybody last year. It's just like, to me, they are a very, very unstable organization. And a lot of people come down to the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, and Raiders. Uh, Pick it a litter. Who got the worst roster in the NFL? And we have Sean King on our flagship show often. He believes, and he stays in LA. I mean, he stays in Las Vegas. He believes that the Raiders are not just a quarterback away. This team is god awful where it really, really counts, and that they should actually be looking to trade back in the draft to acquire more picks and to get more talent. I think by all accounts, they're going to stay right where they at number one and take Fernando Mendoza. But if that roster is as bad as people say, trading back might not be the worst thing. So we threw 6. Time to get to the top 5. At number 5, who you got?
Tennessee. I'm higher on Tennessee than you are. I love Cam Ward. I think Cam can be very, very special for a long time. I believe they got the fourth overall pick this year, which they can add some offensive line help, or they can add a skill guy. They can add whoever they would like, right? They can even trade back and maybe bring in a Jeremiah Love if they really want to. Tennessee was best at his years when they were toting that rock with Derrick Henry, right? So I would love to see them get back physical with there. And now you have a quarterback in hand that can really sling that ball. His arm talent has to be one of the best in the league already as far as Cam Ward. So I love what I see from Cam. I have them at 5. I do think the team is rebuilding, but I like the young pieces that's there at receiver and that on the defensive side of the ball a tad bit. So I'm a little higher on them than you. I have Tennessee at number 5.
All right, so at number 5 for me, this is where it gets a little freaky, a little wonky, right? I got the Cleveland Browns at number 5, right? Here's their profile. We got the 6th pick, the 24th pick, 10 total picks. Not much cap room, 0 to 10 million, which is the bottom 5 through 8. Our key players, I put Miles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I put the entire 2025 draft class on there because that, in my opinion, the young nucleus that we have is very attractive. Outside of what you see there on the team profile, you have an owner that's willing to spend whatever it takes, to get a winning franchise here. And so, if you're the right coach to come in here, you got stability on the defensive side of the ball. You've heard the reports that the Cleveland Browns would like to keep Jim Schwartz if it works out like that. And so that's a caveat that if I'm interviewing for this job, it's like, okay, they already at least got one unit already intact, and that can probably take some stress off of me as I'm learning the ropes of being a head coach, especially if I'm a guy who's coming in here and I'm a first-time head coach. So, passionate fan base. You got a lot of draft capital. I think Andrew Berry can, move some money around to create some more salary cap space. And you got an owner that's willing to spend money. So I got the Browns at number 5. Moving into number 4, who you got?
Our arch rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin. I'm happy and sad to see him go. I don't know how long he'll be out. Sad because I respect him so much as a coach and a man. From playing in the league, you heard nothing but good things come out of Pittsburgh about him. Like everybody wanted to play for him or talk to him. So I'm sad about that, but happy because he's in our division, right? So would love him in Cleveland. I doubt that the Pittsburgh will be willing to trade him unless they get a whole crazy boatload, right, to somebody in house or in the division. But they have a decent amount of cap space. They got some key players like Metcalf and Watt. Love their running backs tandem. Love their young Porter they have. They got some good pieces, and they're not far off. They needed, and I think that's why Tomlin stepped down, they needed a change, right? They needed something a little bit different. For Tomlin to have that many seasons and continue to find a way to win and get into the playoffs and be relevant is a big deal. But they need some pieces on that offensive side, especially the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers was not the piece. They need another receiver. They need probably another tight end. They need more depth at the offensive line. They maybe need a bell cow. They drafted a guy from Iowa last year who didn't really pan out this year. Maybe he can pan out next year in that running back room. But they got 2 running backs that can do some things, right? So they're not far off. I talked about Watt. I talked about Porter. They just need somebody, a fresh face to come in. And I'll be honest with you, that's probably the hardest job to live up to. Like Pittsburgh hasn't had that many coaches in their career. In their lifelong, in their franchise, and to come after somebody that's never had a losing season, and to come after somebody that's going to be that was so beloved, that's going to be hard for anybody to step into. So I'm not sure if the coaches were ranking the jobs of where they would want to go to if it was higher or not, because of pressure. The amount of pressure that's going to be in Pittsburgh is going to be tremendous. But I have them number 4 right now.
It's funny that you put it like that because it might be one of the best jobs on the market, but it might be one of the most pressured situations that you can walk into. A franchise that has had only 3 head coaches ever. Every head coach got a winning record, and every head coach got at least 1 Super Bowl. That is pretty tough to really follow up. All right, so for me at number 4, I actually had the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Atlanta Falcons much better than what you do. Yeah, they don't have a first-round pick this year. Yeah, they don't have a quarterback, and yeah, they bottom 3rd when it comes to salary cap for this year. But you know what, man? To be able to work for Arthur Blank, in my opinion, is something that's got to be very, very intriguing. You look at the Falcons right now; they do have some key places, pieces in place. You got Bijan Robinson at running back. You got Drake London at wide receiver. I think they're going to resign Kyle Pitts at tight end. So if they're able
Mm,
to resign Kyle Pitts, you
mm,
got him. Defensive side of the ball, they drafted Xavier Watts 3 picks after we took Dylan Gabriel, and Xavier Watts made the All Pro team as a rookie. J.C. Bates the third. We know Jesse Bates from his time when he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. So they got some pieces. I think their color scheme is fire. I think their stadium is fire. They play in a fire ass city. Like, I could get with going to coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I can't even hold you, man. I like the job, bro. I
I
like the
feel you.
job.
I feel you.
All right, man. Our top three. Who is third on your list?
I got Cleveland. I got Cleveland number three. You got the
Cleveland number three.
best player in the league, and I didn't stutter. The best player in the league, and Myles Garrett. You talked about how good this draft class was. Like this draft class was exceptional this year. Besides one or two, they were exceptional this year. All providing a spark on either on offense or defense, doing their job, and they're all super young with extreme amount of upside. So I think that's attractive to a coach, right? You have 2 first-round picks this year. Like that's a big deal to turn into a team that needs help primarily on offense. You need some depth pieces on defense, right? You might need a safety, you might need another linebacker. You can always use D-line help, right? But to truly say you can focus on offense and your defense is not set, but your defense is really, really good, man, like it kind of narrows things down for you, if that makes sense. And now again, you get a true look at your quarterback. So say you go back, you running back with Shador this year, you get a true look at what Shador can bring when you have that focus like that. So I'm big on the Browns as far as the NFL jobs. I have them at number 3 for those reasons. I think you're not far off if you get the right pieces in and the right leader in. I do think that head coach needs to be an offensive mind, though. I do. I'm firm on that. I think Jim Schwartz is awesome. I think he can do his thing on defense, but you have to bring in an offensive-minded guy to really get the best out of your offense and your young quarterback.
All right, for me at number 3, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we just kind of went over this when you had them on your list. The reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers in the top 3 is because continuity, quite frankly. 3 head coaches ever in the history of that franchise. I think they got 6 Super Bowls as an organization. Each head coach there has a record over 600. Mike Tomlin just came off a situation to where he never had a losing season. This has been the model consistency, and it's tough for us to say that as Browns fans, as Clevelanders, because you are taught to hate the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
But from afar, you have to respect how they do business because they win Super Bowls, right? They know how to hire the right people. They know how to weather the storm. To build something special and to keep the right people in house. You mentioned the pressure. There is a lot of pressure going to coach in the city of Pittsburgh, but there's got to be a level of peace knowing that what, this is not an organization that's known for giving up on players or head coaches, right? It's something about going to coach for that organization that makes me feel like, okay, if this was me, I can be secure raising my family here. I'm knowing I'm not going to get ousted after 2 or 3 seasons if things don't go, according to plan right away, because this is an emotionally driven league. And, sometimes like owners think one thing one day, they wake up thinking another thing the next day. We got 2 more to get off this list, man. A couple more things to get into before we get up out of here. Number 2, who you got?
Well, it seems like we got the same 2. I'm just wondering what order you have them in.
All right.
I'm going Giants at 2.
All right. So I got Giants at 2, and we
Okay.
both got Baltimore at 1.
And Baltimore at 1. Okay.
Baltimore at 1. So we see that the same way. We see that the same way. Y'all let us know, man. Y'all rank y'all top 9, letting us know who are the top 9 job openings in the NFL. When it comes to the Cleveland Browns, I had them 5. Cecil had them 3. So both of us clearly think that is a really good job. Again, subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, ring the bell so you can stay into the know. Last thing we got to get into before we get out of here, according to a report from Mary Kay Cabot, the Cleveland Browns are going to interview defensive coordinator Jesse Minter from the LA Chargers on Friday. Of course, the Chargers was eliminated in a wild card round of the playoffs. He won a national championship with that school up north in 2023. He's been with Jim Harbaugh for a minute. One game of head coaching experience. Cecil, you just said that you kind of wanted to be an offensive guy. What's your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns doing their due diligence on a guy like Jesse Minter?
No problem doing your due diligence, but I don't want a defensive guy. Like I don't think you need to touch your defense as far as bringing in another defensive guy to bring in his system to do whatever he wants to do. Jim Schwartz is your guy. Schwartz is your guy. Like let him cook. Let him do his thing. Bring in an offensive minded guy that can lead these guys, that can lead the whole team, that can be a motivator, that can build a culture of success. But he has to have a creative mind to get the best out of the offense, right? When you look at Sean McVay, when you look at guys like the Shanahans, when you look at guys like the head coach for Ben Johnson, right? These guys are having success, and they're offensive-minded guys. And then I can continue to go, right? But I would want a guy like a Joe Brady from Buffalo, or maybe even a Clint Kubiak, right, out in Seattle. I want somebody with some experience calling plays that can get the best out of our young quarterback, or at least get a clean evaluation out of our quarterback, right? I just think that's important. Like for me, it's offensive line, and then getting to get a true evaluation on your quarterback, setting whoever that guy is up for success, and then you can make a decision, yay or nay, on okay, is he progressing throughout the year, or is he kind of just plateauing, right? So I want an offensive-minded guy. This is an offensive-driven league, and you have a defense that's set up for success already. So now that guy can just be focused on the offense at hand.
To couple what you said, Andrew Berry made it very clear in his press conference the day that Kevin Stefanski was fired that the majority, if not all, of their offensive resources will be spent on the offensive side of the ball. And I would only assume that means in personnel hiring, that means in upgrading the roster, that means in philosophy, that means in every way possible. The Cleveland Browns organization is going to spend a lot of time, money, and energy on the offensive side of the ball. Listen, this has been another episode of the Ultimate 216 Show. Cecil, man, it's good to have you back in the building, bro. Catch Cecil too, twice a month, man. We doing this? Pulling up on us twice a month. So, good luck to you. Good luck to the Mustangs, man, as you get that program off the ground. And shout out to y'all for watching, man. Make sure y'all drop where y'all watching from. Again, like, subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. For Cecil, I'm Earl of Pearl. Y'all know the vibes. Be great. Spread love. Remember, being great come with a price, and spread love is priceless. Till next time, we out. Love y'all. Peace.